Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Live on the Smoke and Mirrors Network, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, how to get a car from point A to point B without driving it.
All right.
Think about that for a minute. I drove the Ford F-150 Raptor R, and I'm going to give you my impression of it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later Konrad has This Week in Auto History, along with the stories making automotive news headlines. It's just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday in our live version of this chaos.
Somewhat. Are we sure?
Well, we thank you for joining us.
We are up and running.
Are we up and running? So we've had some issues with the fine Xfinity folks once again, and we thank them for that, the Chaos crew.
Yes, and Verizon was a lot of help, too.
Yeah.
Our backup, Verizon, wasn't much
We're
better.
all being sarcastic with this, but at any rate,
yeah.
we hope that you're able to see us and hear us wherever you are.
We just put some
And
ointment on
Don
it.
pays extra for this rotten service.
I do. I pay a lot of money for that rotten service. Pardon me. All right. Let's get on to our interview. He's the boss at the Montway Auto Transport Company. His name is Mike Trudeau. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Well, we're great. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I'm just going to read this. A recent Kelley Blue Book study found that nearly 1 in 5 new car sales in 2022 was pre-ordered, which was an 89% increase from 2021. That's kind of surprising, actually. But I think that that's the way it's going these days, because it's not like it used to be where you'd walk on the dealer's lots.
And you'd have 1,000 cars in inventory.
Yep.
Yeah, and you'd have, 75 of them at the Skylark or whatever it is that you go in there to see.
Oh,
So we don't have this. So I think that people have really gotten into ordering
Skylark's
cars because
cool.
you. Pardon me?
Skylarks are cool.
I was just using that as an
okay.
example.
Oh,
Sorry. And so, Mike, I got the feeling that you're the kind of guy that takes cars from point A to point B when it comes to that sort of stuff. Now, are you involved when it comes to the car comes off the rail system here in Houston and it goes from the rail over to the dealership? Are you one of those kind of guys?
No, I mean, do we do some of those? Yes, but our primary business is more in the used car space for
Yep.
dealerships.
Yep.
So, I mean, whether it's a home delivery for used cars or picking up their cars from the auction or now private customers or the online platforms that they buy. Our goal is to get the car on the used car lot as fast as possible so they can get it sold.
So what kind of equipment do you use to transport these cars? I mean, we're talking about one of those, dozen car carrier kind of things, 18-wheeler like?
We use all different types of equipment. So, I mean, we're a third-party logistics company. So, our job is known in the industry as a broker. Our job is to create the relationships with the carrier base, whether they have a 1-car trailer, 3-car, 5-car, 7, 8, 9. And then we look to take the freight and really act as their sales arm to make sure that they keep their trucks loaded.
But you guys do more than just used car operations. You will do transportation of vehicles for individuals, correct?
Yes, yeah. We were founded back about 16 years ago, and our original founder really started the company moving individual cars, 1 car at a time, for what we call personally owned vehicles, whether it's the snowbirds or people moving because of relocation. About 5 years ago, we really wanted to get into the B2B space, and to you guys' point, home delivery, pre-ordering cars, moving 1 car at a time really has become really relevant. And one of the great things about Montway is that because we always moved 1 car at a time for personally owned vehicles, we built a network of single car carriers across the country. So when dealers do buy 1 car at a time and they have 1 in Maine, 1 in Florida, and they need to get them back to Houston, we're a perfect company to call to be able to manage their inventory, to to be able to get the cars in whatever states that they buy in.
So when Carvana goes belly up soon and they have all these really cool car transporters, I assume that you're the first in line to go buy those things and take that name off the side of it and put it on Montway Auto Transport.
Hopefully our drivers do. I mean, our goal is really just to be the broker. We don't own any assets or any equipment of our own. So we're really just the third party logistics company. So hopefully some of our carrier partners that we use out there will buy more trucks.
Yeah, I
snap those up.
Yeah, I've moved 2 vehicles from California to Houston, and Montway was my broker both times. Did a wonderful job. Yep. Moved Austin's 2004 GMC Yukon back when he went to Australia, and then when he gave up his car altogether, living in San Francisco, we sent his Honda Accord back.
So, Mike, when I want to move a car, how would Konrad find you? Do you just Google auto transporters?
Yeah, if you Googled auto transporters and you were a person, you're just a private individual and wanted to move a car, you could go right to our website, at montway.com, and be able to submit a quote, and then you can submit the order right online. Someone will contact you to verify everything, and we'll pick up your car and get it delivered.
Now, your guys aren't any of those guys that sit on the side of the road typing in bids that I've seen on TV, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys aren't one of those kind of guys, are you?
No, and I mean, for the dealers listening, I would definitely go to the business page on the website and call in. Pricing options vary.
Yeah,
especially for larger volume dealers.
And is there like an option? I haven't looked. Having computer problems anyway. What if I want it covered? I want to move my 65
Skylark
GTO across the country. I mean, is there an option to get like covered or enclosed?
Yep, absolutely. So you can. There's on the quoting function. There's a button you can hit to either do open or enclosed.
And one of the other
inoperable, all that fun stuff.
And one of the other things I remember was the timing of the pickup and delivery was, I'll say, flexible, and that flexibility gave you a flexibility in price. If you were willing to wait to get that vehicle moved from California to Houston and let them schedule it, they gave me a discount in doing it. I imagine that was because you guys were using a car on the way by, or a transport that was kind of in the area that had space on it to move the vehicle, is kind of the way I understood it.
Yeah, I mean, that always helps, but I mean, ultimately, the longer you have in the retail space to schedule a carrier, the more further advanced they can do their route planning. So typically, you can pass along a better savings to the customer if they're flexible and willing to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just cheap and willing to wait, and it worked out great. The guy had loaded it up in Fresno and called me, dropped it off at the he pulled into the Lowe's parking lot, unloaded the truck, and I drove it home.
Cool. That works.
About 2 miles from the house.
Yeah.
And really, he couldn't get it to my house because he was in one of the, I'm assuming, the 8-car haulers, like you see the dealerships get their vehicles on it, and there was a lot of other vehicles on it, so he couldn't get into my neighborhood. Well, he probably could have got in the neighborhood. He couldn't turn around and get out.
Be in your neighborhood. That's what it is.
So we arranged to get it dropped off at the Lowe's.
All right. So here's another question for you. What if I don't really care how the car gets here? Can you supply a driver and just drive the car to me?
We don't offer drive away, but there's definitely companies out there that do.
Really? Mm-hmm. How funny. So why? No, let me rephrase that. When somebody calls you and wants to have a car from San Francisco to Houston, they want to get a car here, just a regular plain 4-door Honda Accord that's been in the family for a while. They want to get it moved here. Is there a general idea of how long that process takes? If I don't have an actual time that I need it here right away or anything like that, and I can schedule it with you, what is the usual turnaround time for that car to be picked up, put on a carrier, brought here?
I mean, really, it's about your schedule. I mean, typically when we receive an order, and if what we call the first available date,
Yep,
is what we try to hit. So, I mean, you really get the flexibility to choose that as a customer. Usually, it takes about 2.5 days to, once you receive an order, to find a carrier and then get it picked up. And then the days in transit, typically carriers, if you're moving one car, travel on average about 350 miles a day. If the full truckload is yours, they can travel up to 500 miles a day. So whatever that in transit time is.
So you actually have dealers or retailers that will load up a vehicle, let's say from San Francisco, where you've got 9-10 cars that you bought out there at auction from somebody that you know, and you want to get them back here to Houston. Then you would get one of your larger carriers to bring that whole load here at one time. Is there a discount for that sort of thing?
There can be, yeah, absolutely. More for dealers. I mean, the two segments of business are really different. So, I mean, you know, on the retail side for the personally owned vehicles, it usually typically is always one car at a time.
Gotcha.
Dealers could be one car up to 8 cars at a time or 20 cars at a time.
Right.
So, I mean, it just kind of varies based off of what the inventory mix is. And I mean, and we treat the dealer customers differently. There's some different type of technology we have, and typically dealers, once they buy a car, they want to get it on their lot.
Now, do you have in the dealer space? Do you have transports? You know, not that, and again, you don't own the asset, but your transport guys, are they somewhat based
You guys
near?
ended up having some internet problems.
Yeah, you know, are they somewhat based near some of these big auto auctions where it's easy to call? You know, you get a call from, you know, dealer A, and he says, "Hey, I just got bought 15 cars at the, at the San Francisco auction. I need them in Houston." You know, and so you have somebody that's relatively close just to facilitate that for you, or do you still have to wait until something happens and that guy's there ready to move for you?
I think we lost
him. We lost him.
Mars is
Our
shaking his head.
internet sucks.
So
We did, yeah.
And I'm good here. I'm good at my end.
Well, I was on a different one.
Well,
And we dropped it.
one of the other things I learned, and you know, again, this was, you know, us moving Austin's truck. You know, we wanted to kind of load it up with a bunch of stuff and get that all to come home. Some of it was like multiple cases of wine. And they said, no, you can't load a bunch of freight in the vehicle and then have us move it either. And that was actually the term they used. Well,
freight.
It's not freight. It's just personal belongings. I said, no, you can't have
Go juice.
You can't load it up with a whole bunch of personal belongings. And
Maybe if you offered them a bottle or two.
Yeah. Well, and Rochelle said when the guy picked it up, they kind of looked inside to make sure it wasn't loaded. There was some stuff in it, but it just wasn't loaded.
Like the trunk of your Oldsmobile.
Or the
Duct tape and
or
rope.
or the Yukon I'm driving. Actually, that's the one we had sent back from San Francisco.
That Yukon?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Austin drove it down to Fresno, and then we waited for the guy to show up in Fresno to pick it up.
The
and take
tranny
it.
went out.
You can't use that word anymore. There are words in the car business we're not allowed to use anymore.
And tranny is one
that's
of them?
One of them, yeah. It's
Is it considered a derogatory term if you use the word tranny?
Well, the
By
car
some
was in
people.
San Francisco. I just figured it.
Here we go, Mars. The wheels are about to fly off of this vehicle. You know that, don't you?
You know, it took me an hour and 14 minutes.
So let me just read this, because I think this is interesting stuff with Mike Trudeau. Sorry we lost him. A recent Kelley Blue Book study found that nearly 1 in 5 new car sales in 2022 was pre-ordered, which was an 89% increase from 2021. It's been noted that ordering your vehicle directly from a dealer has led to shorter wait times and more transparency in tracking the car through production and delivery, as buyers are now more than ever likely to order a vehicle online, wait for delivery. The rise of single-unit moves is now in high demand. I would understand that.
Yeah.
Well, when you go on to some of these websites and they say, you know, we're we're a national company. Let's pick AutoNation for one, and you're searching for a used car on AutoNation. Well, that inventory may be every dealership across the country.
Right.
Is what you're picking that inventory from. So they have to have a provider like Montway that can move that inventory for them somewhat unseen.
Well, it says here, as dealers continue to source vehicles from multiple outlets and channels outside their local markets, a strategy has been growing post-pandemic. 40% are more significant than 150 miles. 40%, that's a lot, which is out of range for local auction transporters,
right,
creating an increased need for safe and reliable nationwide auto transportation services to help them better manage their inventory and meet customer demands. Now, what is not noted here are those cars that go on a train, a car train, as it were, to Mexico, because our freeway right over here on US 59, I can't tell you how many of those pass headed to Mexico. They buy them here at auction. They take the bumpers off. They connect the two cars together, and down to Mexico they go. And there's usually about 6 cars, sometimes
in a caravan,
8, in a caravan headed down to Mexico.
And when I worked for AutoNation as a buyer rep, the folks that did transport, they actually had offices in the auction facility itself, so you could go and make your agreement and your contracts. But with AutoNation, they had the regulars. They had their folks that continually moved inventory for them, because they would buy 6, 20, 50 cars at a time and distribute them to this location, that location, and that location, and they would let them go.
And that's where you need somebody like Montway to coordinate all of that,
Right,
as they funnel together into the transport system, and then as they move out, and then they have to kind of splinter out to different places.
Yeah.
to
Like
go.
I thought of it like the auctions, like Meekum. They'll, particularly when they come to Houston, they'll be doing somebody's collection. Last year they were doing somebody's collection out of Arizona, so they've got these 40 or 50 cars that are classic. I mean, these are expensive
High-end
cars that they've got to move from that collection site
here
to here
to roll across the.
So I mean,
stage.
that's going to take some logistics to get those kind of vehicles.
You would
moved.
think with a classic car, an expensive car like that, and then the Haggerty insurance companies, they probably have a specific carrier for them that they know is not going to damage a car or not a fly-by-night type.
And
Yeah.
and you see the orange. I know
Reliable.
them as reliable.
Reliable,
is one that the high end people use a lot. I remember when we did when I was working for Oldsmobile, and we were doing car shows down at the Astro Hall or whatever it was, where the car show used to be before what it is now. Reliable would haul the show cars in. Now, most of the cars that were in the shows were locally sourced cars from dealerships, and we'd order them in, and then after the show those cars would be distributed out to various dealers in the city. But some of those cars were show cars, and Reliable was typically the one we
Concept
used.
cars, yeah, that sort of thing. I think
Cool.
that it's very interesting to see how all of that works. It's all behind the scenes that most people don't really understand. I certainly don't understand all the workings of it, but I'll tell you what, the local transporters that actually deliver cars from the railhead, and there's a couple of them here. One is
Jackie
over
Cooper's the big one here. in town.
there's one over by Hobby Airport, very large lot over there, that generally comes from the Freeport area south of town. Then there's the one up off the Hardy Toll Road, and that one is about the same size as the one over by Hobby Airport. And so they'll either inbound or outbound on those cars out there. It's truly amazing.
And they drive them off the train and park them in a lot, and then somebody shows up with a truck and starts hauling them to the dealerships.
Now, here we also have the ship channel. And Volkswagen has a very large storage facility
Yes, they
right
do.
there at the port.
Yep.
And all the Volkswagen stuff goes there.
Yeah, Volkswagen, Audi.
Right. And but others that come off the boat, they'll usually go to one of the transport sites near a railhead somewhere. For instance, a Honda or one of the.
And they may be moving further inland in the
Correct.
country, because they don't want to. Truly, they don't want to haul the new car companies. They don't want to haul a vehicle 1,000 miles on a truck. They would rather move it 895 miles on a train,
Right.
and then the last 100 miles on a truck.
Yeah.
for any assortment of reasons. And some of those reasons are on a train, damage can occur, depending on where the vehicle is parked. And we've seen, I'd seen this for years. Train brakes, when they apply, they put off a metallic dust, and that metallic dust can damage the paint on a vehicle, and you would see that, and that would, and so when it show up at the dealership, they'd either have to make some repairs or they'd have to clean it up. And then vehicles that are moved on the road on a truck that are not enclosed, they're subject to road debris, rocks and bugs and stuff.
Yep.
So
It's a very interesting business,
Yep.
and it's a business within a business, really, and it's a lot of money.
when I searched getting those two vehicles moved, oh my gosh, you talk about being annoyed by everybody. All of a sudden, I did the search for moving a vehicle from San Francisco, well, actually Fresno to Houston. I'm getting emails and phone calls from 50 different companies.
I got me a truck. I got
Yeah.
two guys in a truck.
Chuck in a truck.
Kathy bought hers, and hers was built. She built it online. They shipped it after it was built to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix into Houston.
Interesting.
That was the path of her car getting to her.
Huh. Seems out
All
of
right.
the way.
Well, let's do the cruise-in calendar right now, shall we?
Sure.
Moving
We shall.
along. Okay. Sorry, Mike Trudeau, if you're still listening. Hopefully, we'll get back with you one day soon and talk about.
So the Baytown's Lions Club Gumbo Fest and car show is at the VFW post off of Main Street in Baytown today, through the lunch hour. Also today is the LCISD Auto Fest down in Rosenberg, and that's a fundraiser for their automotive department. This afternoon, starting at noon, is Hot Rods and High Heels. I'm assuming
I'm in. Oh my God! I want the red one.
and that's on 3420 Rusk Street in Houston.
What time?
Rusk. That's downtown.
Yep. And that's vintage only car show.
And what time?
Noon, starts at noon.
It's going to be a beautiful day today.
It
by
is.
the way.
It's gorgeous.
And then also at noon is the Corpus Christi car show at the American Bank Center off of Shoreline Boulevard
You know what?
in
I think
Corpus
my
Christi.
cousin Douglas will probably be there. My cousin Doug lives down in Corpus.
And then the Camaro Cruise and Meet starts at 9 a.m. Tomorrow at Buc-ee's in Katy. So everybody's going to meet out there, and they're going to roll out at 11 o'clock and kind of do some, it's now time to go cruise the Bluebonnets.
Well,
because the Bluebonnets are in bloom.
Parking spot at Buc-ee's would be the only challenge, I think.
And then also Tomball local only cars meet at the Coles off of 2920 in Tomball. The Thundersticks car show on 501 South Austin Avenue in Georgetown is tomorrow at 9 a.m. And the car meet at the Willis Discount Furniture.
What you talking about, Willis?
Willis, Texas. I knew
Willis,
you'd
Texas.
like that one.
All right, time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2023 Ford F-150. And it comes in many trim levels.
How many?
Starts with the XL, then it goes to the XLT, the Lariat, the King Ranch, the Platinum, the Limited, the Tremor, the Raptor, and the Raptor R. I had the Raptor R.
Of course, you had the top of the line F-150.
Wait till you find out how much that car, the sticker is on that truck. All right, it's a standard pickup truck. Holds 5 people, including the driver. Changes, well, it's all new for this year, the Raptor R. Okay? Exterior features include clearance lights moved from the top of the cab down to the top of the grille. Don't know why they did that, but it looks cool, but that serves no purpose.
So you don't peel them off in a covered garage.
The clearance lights on the top of the cab were there for a purpose. Now they're just in the grill to be in the grill, I guess.
Show.
Yeah. Visible skid plate under the front bumper. Big, meaty tires on beadlock rims. Graphics package. I'm not sure whether they package the graphics package with the car and then you decide if you want them put on there and then the dealership puts it on. It used to be like that.
Is that how it
Well,
happened?
that's the way it used to be. Now I think that they may be applied at the factory. I'm not sure. But it's up to you. You don't have to have the graphics package because there is an upcharge
it's
for
an
that.
option.
Yeah. What I liked about it, those big, fat fenders. And you know what kept them from making the fenders even bigger to hold the tires? Transporters.
Oh yeah, because they have to be able to fit on the transport truck.
The width was determined by the width of the actual transporter.
I'll be darned.
That's how they did it, because I asked the question. Anyway, interior highlights. Recaro black leather seats.
Oh gosh.
I know it. Fold-down shifter to allow for the console cover to become a desk. Wireless phone charger allows to see the screen where it's placed.
So you like that wireless phone charger?
That's the only way to go. Don't you agree, Morris?
Well, I agree, and the one that's sitting in that vehicle I'm driving now is even better.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never used one.
Beautiful dash, big 13.4-inch screen, easy to use and understand. Plenty of storage, including under the rear seat. What I liked about it, the comfort and the well-placed controls. What could use improvement? They could do away with that shifter and go to a rotary knob. It'd be a whole lot easier.
No.
I mean, because they got it where it'll fold down anyway, so you know it's not.
It's not connected to anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So the engine is a 5.2-liter supercharged V8, turning out 700 horsepower
Only.
and 640 pound-feet of torque through a 10-speed automatic transmission.
Yikes.
Tow rating is 8,700. Haul rating 1,400. It gets 10 miles per gallon in the city and 15 on the highway.
And it'll haul donkey.
Yeah.
Lots of donkeys.
I got 12.6 miles per gallon
you
over
were feathering that baby.
I was feathering it all the way. I did not get into it. I didn't try to burn rubber. Nothing else. Let's see. I don't want to put gas in this thing because it's going to cost me a fortune. 358 miles is what I went. Still had to add a few gallons to make sure that I gave it back with a quarter of a tank. What I liked about it, the power, baby. What could use improvement? The power to weight ratio. This thing weighs 3 tons.
Wow.
It's a very heavy vehicle, so it loses some of that 700 horsepower through the weight that it has to haul around all the time.
So do I.
Right, yeah. Ride and handling, pretty good with steel springs and Fox shocks. What could use improvement? It's a desert runner for the street. So there's nothing really to say about what could use improvement because it's a truck made as a desert runner.
And it is the improvement over the base Raptor because this is the Raptor R, so
With
it's
the
a little
V8.
bit more performance to it.
Right. The equipment group 802A costs $31,575, and I will assume that equipment group includes the engine upgrades and all the stuff with the V8. That's all I could think of. Base trim price, $109,145.
For the Raptor R.
Price is tested, $1,009.
100,000. No.
$100,009 and $109,740. I'm not used to those six figures.
You get tied when you got that many.
Base model price is $41,530. All right. And competitors, the Ram TRX, $86,250 with 702 horsepower. The Chevy ZR2.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd call that a competitor because the GM doesn't have the power that the Raptor has.
They have one in the works, a V8 supercharged with 682 horsepower. It's in the works. It's coming. Just stay tuned and cool your jets. And
All
nothing
right.
from Toyota or from Nissan. And that's my review of the 2023 Ford Raptor F-150 R.
Did it draw attention when people saw it was a Raptor R?
It didn't have the graphics package on the side.
Okay.
I'm really glad
But
to
didn't the
report.
R on the Raptor at the end?
Yes, the Raptor at the very end is red.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Signifies
Want to
R.
remind everybody that the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. No thanks to Xfinity. Podcasts are at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Restomod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Loopy Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.